So I come from a very large Catholic family. I have 5 sisters and 2 brothers. And our faith was always really important. We get together on Sunday nights and have dinner, and family's always huge. And so growing up, all of us went through Catholic schooling. My dad was an athletic trainer. My mom did any odd and end jobs to get us through so that we could have the benefit of going through a Catholic education. It was always really important to us. And so I went to Catholic grade school and then high school, college, and it played a huge part of my life. I want the same for my kids. I want to be able to have that reinforcement of the relationship that I have with God in a school that supports that. So my wife, she grew up Baptist and went through public schooling, and so with our kids, we had this discussion for a long time. You know, what direction do we do? And we prayed a lot about it. It wasn't until it started getting a lot closer with our oldest, Claire, going to be going to school. And so I think it only took a few times of thinking about it and being like, okay, it'd be silly if we don't send her to school. If we can't do it, God's going to provide a sign or do something. There's going to be an affirmative, no, it's not the right thing. And that never happened. Seeing the struggles my parents went through to provide that education was something that, if they can do it, I can do it. So I wanted the same for my kids. After moving here and our kids growing up and having that conversation of what direction do we go, we had started to form really good relationships with families that were in the parish, and they had kids that were going to J&A, and it just seemed like there was such a huge community here that we wanted to be a part of. It was an easy decision after seeing every one of the kids that were going here. When your kids go off to school, you're hoping like, hey, how's your day? How did it go? And you don't really get anything. You're like, I don't know, Dad. And it wasn't until I dropped Claire off to school for the first time that I pulled up, and we were just getting there, just in time. The bell rings, and I'm like, oh my goodness, she's going to be late. I'm like, what a dodo dad. Jeez Louise. So as soon as I drop her off, she closes the door, the windows were down, and I hear Mrs. Petcher say, hey, let's start the day off like we do every day with a prayer. And I felt so at home, like I knew she was at the right place after hearing that. It's just, we have a prayer life with our kids, and having a prayer life at school that's going to reinforce a relationship with God was such a... Once we applied for schooling, we knew that we wanted to send Claire here, but there was still a part of us like, okay, well, can we really afford this? What's going to happen? So we applied for financial aid through Beyond Sunday, and we were given a good chunk of money, and it made our decision a lot easier. It reaffirmed, hey, you're making the right decision. God is providing money for us to have Claire go to school here. So it was a very easy decision.